Hello, Namaskar, Vanakkam. We'll continue with our series on test papers for science and social science on CBSE with Sudhir. I hope you have already seen the test paper video of chapter 2, Reshaping India's Political Map of Social Science yesterday. Today, I'm going to be doing the competency-based test paper of 50 marks on the chapter 2, The Invisible Living World. The explanation video is already there. I hope you have already seen that. Let's get started. The MCQs. A student observes onion peel cells and human cheek cells under a microscope. Both cells show a nucleus, cytoplasm, and cell membrane. What does this observation suggest? That only plants have cells, cells share basic structures, all cells are identical, or animals lack cytoplasm. What exactly does it mean? I want you to pause, choose the correct answer, and then match it with my answer. The correct answer is answer B. Cells share basic structure. Both plant and animal cells have the same basic cell parts. Question number 2. Let me just bring it up. Sorry. A cell needs to take in nutrients and remove waste continuously. Which cell part is mainly responsible for this? Nucleus, cytoplasm, cell membrane, or the vacuole? The correct answer is option C, cell membrane. The cell membrane allows useful substances in and waste to be thrown out. A scientist discovers a cell with a cell wall, chloroplast, and a large vacuole. The cell most likely belongs to the human cheek, nerve tissue, plant leaf, or is it blood? See, competency test paper will always try to give a lot of case-based, example-based kind of questions. So you need to be prepared to think logically and apply that understanding. So correct answer for this is plant leaf. Chloroplast and a large vacuole are features of plant cells. See, the way I've written it here, the same questions can also come as reasoning 2-mark questions. So this explanation becomes very important for you to explain why something is so and so. So please pay attention to the explanation also. A nerve cell and a muscle cell look very different. What is the best reason for this difference? They belong to different organisms. Their functions are different. One is living and the other is not. They contain different cytoplasm. What is really the reason why they look very different? The answer is their functions are different. The cell shape and structure are related to the work that they perform. A student arranges the following in order: digestive system, stomach, muscle tissue, and muscle cell. Which sequence correctly shows the levels of organization? So this is another aspect that you need to bear in mind, that you need to know the order in which something is organized. So here the options are 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 3, 1, and 1, 2, 3, 4. The correct option, you want to see this again and then you decide what is the order in which you need to go. If you have given the answer, let me tell you the answer. The correct answer is option A, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cells form tissues, tissues form organs, and organs form the organ system. A microorganism is made up of only one cell and performs all life processes within that single cell. What is it? Is it multicellular, acellular, unicellular, or is it tissue level? Pretty simple. The correct option is unicellular. A unicellular organism carries out all the functions in one cell. Question number 7. Let me bring it up for you. Read this question, pause it, give the correct answer, and then also while you're doing so, take care to also think of the explanation. Always remember to ask the why and the how, right? So why can't we usually see them directly? The tiny moving organisms, either they move too fast, they live underground, they're transparent, or they are too small. Again, pretty easy. Option D, they are too small because they are microorganisms, are too small to be seen with the naked eye. A gardener leaves fruit and vegetables peels mixed with soil for several weeks. The peels turn into nutrient-rich manure. Which organisms mainly caused this change? Birds and insects, fungi and bacteria, algae and fish, roots and leaves. The correct option is option B. Fungus and bacteria and fungi decompose waste into manure. A baker accidentally forgets to add yeast while preparing bread dough. Which result is most likely? The dough becomes greener, it rises faster, dough remains less fluffy, or dough turns into curd. So now what you need to know is the role of yeast. So what happens if yeast is not added while preparing bread dough? The correct answer is it will become less fluffy. It releases carbon dioxide that makes dough soft and fluffy. Two bowls of milk are mixed with curd. One is kept warm and the other is kept inside the refrigerator. Now, I don't know how many of you have ever done this at your home. Only the warm bowl forms curd. What can be concluded? Lactobacillus grows better in warmth. Cold milk has more sugar. No. Curd forms only in darkness. No. Milk changes without bacteria. The correct option is option A. Lactobacillus bacteria grows well in warm conditions and converts milk into curd. Aarti left a slice of bread uncovered near the kitchen sink. Her brother kept another slice in the refrigerator. After 3 days, Aarti noticed a cotton-like growth on her bread, while her brother's bread looked almost unchanged because it was kept inside the refrigerator. What is the most likely reason? Refrigerator kills all microbes. Bread near the sink had favorable conditions for microbial growth. Cotton-like growth is produced by the bread itself. Microbes grow only in sunlight. The correct option is option B. That warm and moist conditions near the sink help microorganisms grow faster. Let's move to question number 12. Was this the previous one, 11th? Yeah, okay. Rohan observed a long branch cell carrying messages through the body. His friend identified it as a muscle cell. Why is his friend's conclusion incorrect? That it is not a muscle cell, because muscle cells contain no nucleus. Muscle cells are rectangular. Nerve cells have long branches for message transmission, and nerve cells have chloroplast. So it is not a muscle cell, it is a nerve cell. So option C is the correct one. The long branch shape is an adaptation of nerve cells for carrying messages from one part of the body to the other. During a science activity, Meera forgot to add glycerine while preparing an onion peel slide. After some time, the cells became difficult to observe. Why did this happen? Because glycerine adds color, glycerine prevents cells from drying, glycerine creates new cells, glycerine enlarges the nucleus. The correct option is B, it prevents cells from drying. Two students examined different cells. One cell had chloroplast and a cell wall, the other lacked both. Which conclusion is most reasonable? Both are animal cells. First is a plant cell, second may be an animal cell. Both are bacterial cells or both are plant cells. The correct option is B, that the first is a plant cell, the second may be an animal cell. Chloroplast and cell walls are characteristic features of plant cells. A farmer grows peas, as in mutton, in one field and wheat in another. The pea field remains fertile even with less nitrogen fertilizer. Which microorganism is most responsible? Amoeba, yeast, rhizobium, or paramecium? Correct answer is rhizobium. In root nodules, fix nitrogen and enrich the soil. Kavya observed a microorganism that was single-celled, moved from place to place, and had an irregular shape. Which organism was she most likely observing? Amoeba, bread mold, yeast, or rhizobium? So look at the characteristics, which is why it is very important to remember all the characteristics of the different things which are part of chapter 2. The correct answer here is A. Amoeba is a single cell protozoan with an irregular shape. During an experiment, 2 bowls of dough were prepared with sugar and warm water. Yeast was added only to the first bowl. After a few hours, bowl A became fluffy. Why did this happen? This is somewhat related to the earlier question that we did. Yeast produced chlorophyll, it released carbon dioxide, sugar expanded in warm water, or water changed into air. The correct answer is B. A student discovers a microorganism that has a cell wall but no chloroplast. It cannot make its own food. Which group does it most likely belong to? Fungus, algae, plants, or animals? Fungus. Right? During a discussion, one student says if microorganisms disappeared from Earth, fallen leaves and dead organisms would still disappear naturally. Which statement best challenges his claim? Leaves can fly away in the wind. Microorganisms decompose dead matter and recycle nutrients. Plants absorb dead animals directly. Rainwater dissolves all waste completely. The correct answer is B. Microorganisms are essential for the process of decomposition. Aman observes a cell under a microscope. It has a cell membrane and cytoplasm, but no well-defined nucleus. Instead, it contains a nucleoid region. What is a cell most likely to be? Onion peel cell, human cheek cell, bacterial cell, or an yeast cell? The correct answer is the bacterial cell. Bacteria have a nucleoid instead of a well-defined nucleus. Now, let's look at some reasoning questions. Rohini observed that the onion peel cells looked like neatly arranged bricks in a wall, while cheek cells appeared more irregular in shape. Why do you think onion peel cells are arranged so closely together? Now, these can be 2-mark or even 3-mark questions. So, what you need to write is like this, that onion peel cells have a cell wall that provides strength and rigidity, allowing them to remain tightly packed. This compact arrangement helps plant tissue stay firm and support the plant body. So your language needs to be formal while ensuring that you include all the keywords and give all the information in terms of reasoning. A student found that fruit and vegetable peels buried in soil gradually disappeared after a few weeks. Why would this process slow down if the soil became very dry? So you see, different kinds of conditions are being provided to you in order to test whether you have really understood the concept or not. So microorganisms, so your answer needs to reflect your understanding. Please remember that. Microorganisms need suitable moisture to grow and carry out decomposition. This line is very important. Therefore, in very dry soil, their activity decreases, so the waste breaks down much more slowly. That's what this question is asking you. A microscope slide of pond water showed many different microorganisms with different shapes and movements. Why is it beneficial for microorganisms to have such diverse forms? Different shapes and structures help microorganisms perform different functions and survive in different conditions. This diversity allows them to occupy different habitats and use different sources of food. A farmer grows bean plants one year and wheat the next year in the same field. How can this practice improve the growth of the wheat crop? Very interesting question. Because of the rhizobium. Bean plants have root nodules containing rhizobium bacteria that add nitrogen to the soil. So rhizobium and nitrogen are two words, key words, which are absolutely important. If you do not use these words, if you do not provide this information, you will not get full marks. The wheat crop can then use this nitrogen for better growth without needing any extra nitrogen fertilizer to be added. A scientist discovers a living organism made up of only one cell. Despite being a single cell, it can move, feed, respire, and reproduce. How is this possible? In unicellular organisms, a single cell performs all the life processes needed for survival. The cell contains all the structures required to carry out these functions independently. Now I have got one section of 5 marks, which is very interesting. Okay, where you have to identify. Let's see how many of you are able to do that. Let me just show the question. Okay, so this is the question. Who am I? I am present in the roots of pea and bean plants. This you should be able to because we just did it. I help trap a gas from the air and make it useful for plants. Farmers like me because I improve the soil fertility naturally. I'm sure you will be able to do that. We are talking about rhizobium. I am living, but I am not made of cells. I cannot reproduce on my own. I multiply only after I enter a living cell. We are talking about virus. I am a fungus, but unlike bread mold, I have only one cell. When mixed with flour, sugar, and warm water, I make the dough rise. I release a gas that makes bread soft and fluffy. Again, see, some of these questions we did in the MCQs, but you can always get these kind of slightly interesting questions. The answer is yeast. Who am I? I am found in every cell and control its activities. Without me, the cell cannot properly regulate growth. In bacteria, my well-defined form is absent. The correct answer is nucleus. I'm tiny and plant-like. I make my own food using sunlight. Although I'm microscopic, I produce more than half of the Earth's oxygen supply. Now, this is something which we did not do. It's microalgae, right? So with that, we come to the end of this test paper. I hope you were able to answer most of the questions. It also helped you revise, also to test how much you have remembered, recalled, and able to understand the chapter. If you have any doubts, go back to the explanation video, and you can always use this test paper video before every exam because it will help you revise and test yourself all over again. Share this video with your classmates and other friends, and definitely subscribe to CBSE with Sudhir. Tata, bye bye. I'll see you in yet another test paper video very soon. Bye.